Hey new 5e D&D player, Dungeons and Dragons. I bet you think you're playing the game that you want to play. But for many of you, here's a secret. The game that you want to play is not the game meant for you. Well, you might be like, well, what the fuck is he talking about? I mean, here's the game I want to play. Why wouldn't that be the game for you? Well, for some of you, it is the game for you. Don't misunderstand. But for many of you, what you think you want isn't what you want. I'm not talking about the specific game. I'm talking about the ease of play. So you might find that you're kicking ass in your 5e game. Sometimes you may want to be more challenged than you're being. And when you are challenged, it doesn't seem to be challenging. It's a total party kill. It's like the enemy's just walking over you, but most of the time, you're walking over the enemy. There's not too many middle of the ground, combat situations where there's a challenge, where it really feels like either side can win. And because the game is this easy, something does feel off. You have some good sessions, but there's a reason you're not going too far with the campaign. You're stopping at session 6. And why are you only doing shorter sessions? I'm not against 1 or 2 hours and getting a lot done, but, wouldn't you like to have the experience where you want to play longer? Like where you want it, where you desperately want it. And you might feel that you're satisfied with 2 hours or a short session or something like that. But again, there's something missing. Later into the campaign, something's wrong. Like you're having these good sessions, but something's not really happening. You're searching for something, maybe something you had early on. You came in your first couple of sessions, maybe your first session. It was magic. It was immersive, right? That's the drug, and you got high on it, and you want more of that. And you search for more of that, you get some of it, not much, and there's something missing, like you're not repeating that first bit of magic. Though you're hunting for it, many people do for decades. Some find it, some don't. No matter what you think you want, you may really be meant for a game with more consequences. That is more challenging. And depending on how you view that game, you might go play a game like that and get really annoyed with getting tripped up. Oh yeah, you got to build patience up for some of this. You got to learn to adjust to a challenging game. Even if you're new, the game's challenging, just like a video game. You get it. You're not just going to be magic out of the gate when it's a good, challenging game. It takes a bit of time to, work your way through it, but it won't take forever. But if you can get past the perception that tripping and falling on your face is a bad thing or you're embarrassed by it, if you can put all that aside and just get by it, accept that failure will come as part of the game. More often than what you're probably facing now, right? I'm not saying you're not tripping and falling on your face. I'm not saying you're not having that experience. But it's overwhelming when the overall game is challenging in many ways. And I would tell any game master that would run a game for you, no matter what game it is, that the consequences in any game are there for a reason. And you want to make sure that those consequences get applied. Because at the end of the day, the reason you want to face these challenges is you want to have to strategize. You want to be pushed back. You want to be worried about just going over to this place instead of running over carelessly. You want to have to think your way through things because there could be a deadly end to what you're doing. You want all of that. And if you can learn to handle the hard part leading up to learning a bit more about it, you get that experience. And what you might find is that's really the game that you're meant for. Even though right now you think you want an easier version of that game with more tools, you might find yourself with less tools in a challenging situation. Once you get past any negative views you have, you might find that you thrive in that environment, that you like the heat, you like the challenge, you appreciate that there's limitations, right? You see a different side of the game suddenly than you're seeing right now. Many of you new school players are not trying the old school games. Well, you're not trying many other games outside of 5e. And I'm not pitching for Pathfinder. They already got a good enough crowd for that game. But for the old school, I look at new school D&D players and I say, come try this. It is a different experience. It's not less. It's not an underdeveloped game, right? Don't get it wrong when you see that's first edition. So I'm playing 5e, so I'm playing the more advanced built-on edition. No, you are playing a different game, and I get that many of you won't know the history, won't know what that means. But TSR D&D, where the D&D originally started, that's a different game. It's different. It's not the same. So what you're playing is not a more advanced version of that. It's a different game. Once you understand that you're playing a different game than the original D&D from TSR, going from OD&D straight up to 2nd edition AD&D, once you understand that you're playing a different game, you'll maybe get that I'm trying to pitch you to have a different experience, not a lesser experience, right? And I could get why many new people coming into the hobby might think the older versions, again, are a lesser experience. They're not. They're different. And they're so different that you might find something that was really meant for you. It's really weird to think that way, to think, well, I want this, but sometimes you got to get out there and spread your wings and try other things to find out, oh, wow, maybe this is what I wanted, right? Right? Maybe this is the thing. And don't let politics and all that get into your head, right? Really don't. Put that all aside. If you don't like certain elements of the game based on, the places or whatever, okay, fair enough. Just put that out of your game. The mechanics overall, the games of the original D&D are really worth trying. And you might find that you thrive in that field. And, there's still a lot of people playing old school. It's not like it's empty. But we would really appreciate if some new people coming into the hobby would give a look to old school D&D, because I know many of you are not. Actually, the vast majority of you that are coming new into 5e are not giving no time at all to the old school, right? There's magic here, and I'm trying to pitch that to you. I'm trying to convince you to try it. It doesn't matter what my opinions are. You cannot like me for my opinions, but if you listen to my game stuff, I think you'll give me some credibility here. I know what I'm talking about. And so from that end, as a gamer to a gamer, I'm telling you, there's something here that if you haven't tried, you are missing out, right? Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.